Welcome to Highlights of Jazz Music, a series exploring the history of jazz recordings from Joplin to Mahavishnu, from ragtime to fusion, 1916 to 1971. I'm your host, Justin Bouchard. In this 15th episode of Highlights of Jazz Music, we reach the peak of the swing era in both 1939 and 1940, when big band swing music accounted for 70% of records sold in the United States. At the beginning of 1939, the band led by Jimmy Lunceford was one of the more adventurous and creative-led bands, featuring the top-notch arrangements of Cy Oliver. One of the band's most memorable performances recorded at the start of the year was Time's A-Wasting, featuring Oliver on the vocals.
Everything's gonna be alright. Hurry, honey, hurry, time's a-wasting. The nightingale sings from above. Oh, what a night for making love. Hurry, honey, hurry, time's a-wasting. We'd better get on with our wooing. We've got to catch up on our billing and cooing. I love that light in your eyes. I wanna be told some little white lies. Hurry, honey, hurry, time's a-wasting.
That last song was Dawn on the Desert from the sextet led by bassist John Kirby. Even though Louis Armstrong's creative days were long behind him at the peak of the swing era, he managed to have a large size hit every now and then. In 1939, his biggest record and one of his most popular hits from the swing era was Jeepers Creepers. After that, we'll hear an example from Artie Shaw's 1939 band, which excelled at playing tunes from the Great American Songbook, among them Bill from the Jerome Kern musical Showboat.
Now, I don't care what the weatherman says. When the weatherman says it's raining, you never hear me complaining. I'm certain the sun will shine. I don't care how the weather vane points. When the weather vane points too gloomy, it's got to be sunny to me. When your eyes look into mine, oh, jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Oh, gosh, I'll get up. How'd you get so lit up? Gosh, I'll get up. How'd you get that size? Oh, golly gee, when you turn the heaters on, woe is me. Got to put my cheaters on. Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Oh, those weepers. How'd the hypnotize? Yes. Where'd you get those eyes, Gate? Where'd you get those eyes, Satch? Where'd you get those eyes? Ba-ba-da-dee-da-do-do-do-do-do. There go those eyes.
street and never notice him. His form and face, his manly grace is not the kind that you would find in a statue, and I can't explain. It's surely not his brain that makes me thrill. I love him because he's wonderful, because he's just my Bill.
That last song was Stomp Off, Let's Go by the Bob Crosby Orchestra, which we heard earlier in this series in the original 1926 version by Ernestine Tate's Vendome Orchestra, featuring a young Louis Armstrong at the dawn of his creative era. On February 4th, 1939, Count Basie made his final recording session for the Decca record label before moving over to Columbia Records, where he would stay until the end of the swing era. The final song he waxed on that day was a rollicking, hard, swinging version of Gershwin's Lady Be Good. After the Basie Band, we'll hear former Benny Goodman alumnus and trumpet player Harry James lead his band with a swinging rendition of the Italian folk song Cheery Beery Bean. That last song was Gangbusters Holiday at one of Bunny Berrigan's final recording sessions for the Victor label, featuring an arrangement by trombonist and future easy listening music pioneer Ray Conniff. As stated in the previous episode, Duke Ellington's works were rarely covered by other musicians during the swing era, and not until the start of the LP era in the early 1950s would the Duke's music be interpreted and reinterpreted by other musicians and singers. One of the Duke's biggest admirers during the swing era was none other than the bandleader and saxophonist Charlie Barnett, who made 2 guest appearances on the Duke's recording dates, playing percussion earlier in the decade. On the recording session of April 5, 1939, Barnett chose to make Echoes of Harlem, playing Cootie Williams' trumpet passages on his saxophone. In 1939, hundreds of bands were crisscrossing the nation playing one-nighters, appearing in the movies, making recordings, and radio broadcasts. In that year, trombonist Jack Teagarden, who had signed a 5-year contract back in 1934 with Paul Whiteman, thus preventing him from making recording dates under his own name, formed his own orchestra, which many believe that had he had the chance back in 1934, he would have been one of the nation's most popular bands. Although Teagarden's band lasted only a few years, he did manage to have a few minor hits, among them a remake of his signature song, The Sheik of Araby, which he first made with Red Nichols a decade before.
The Sheik of Araby.
Wait. play, gal. What in the world are you singing about? Don't you know that's all out of date?
Why, who are you?
I'm the Sheiky man, that's who I be. And all the gals, they fall for me. You loving men from Araby. Ain't chic no more you used to be. You sang a song for years it seems, but there's better ways to capture queens. I choose this way, it fits my means. Here's what one of the gals in New Orleans.
free and flaming life. Then Zeus was mine. Sad am I, glad am I. For today I'm dreaming of yesterday.
That last song was Yesterdays, one of Billie Holiday's most famous recordings from her first and only recording session for the Commodore record label. By 1939, Tommy Dorsey was looking ahead for a modern swinging sound. Contributing to the Dorsey Band Book was none other than Jimmy Lunceford's former arranger, Cy Oliver. One of Oliver's earliest charts for the Dorsey Band was, Well, All Right. Oliver would stay with the band until the end of the swing era, forming his own band and becoming the leader of the Decca Records Studio Orchestra during the 1950s. Afterwards, we'll hear from the Ella Fitzgerald Orchestra, the former Chick Webb Orchestra, on one of their first recording sessions made after the drummer's premature death on Betcha Nickel.
Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Dig, dig, dig. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Chop, chop, chop. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Hoy, hoy, hoy. Well, all right. For tonight is the night to be bright. The music's talking to you. You know tonight's the night. Oh, we're going. I don't know where we'll go, but we're going. Yes, we're going. The only thing I know is we're going. Feel the rhythm running through you. You know tonight's the night. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Dig, dig, dig. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Chop, chop, chop. Well, all right.
Well, all right.
Hoy, hoy, hoy. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, all right. The music's running through you. You know tonight's the night.
I bet you a nickel, I bet you I win. I bet you a nickel that you will give in. What's the matter, honey? Afraid you lose? Do what you wanna and say what you choose. I still bet you a nickel that you will be mine. I bet you a nickel, even raise it a dime. I always win my money, you can bet on that. I always take a tip and keep it under my hat. You've got yourself to yourself. Come on, get off that shelf. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time. That's why I bet you a nickel that you will be mine. I bet you sign on the dotted line. I don't see no sense in wasting all this time, 'cause whatever you bet, your bet is gonna be mine. To yourself, come on, get off that shelf. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time.
We bet you a penny, we ain't got a dime.
Say that ain't no money, you're wasting my time. I don't see no sense in all this rhythm and rhyme, 'cause whatever you bet, your bet is gonna be mine.
That last song was Grand Terrace Shuffle, played by the orchestra led by pianist Earl Father Hines. Along with the Jack Teagarden Orchestra, the orchestra led by pianist Teddy Wilson made its debut in 1939, but only lasted a few years. One of their popular numbers was Early Session Hop. One of the most popular and famous big bands was the one led by Glenn Miller. Between 1939 and 1942, they had a total of 23 #1 hit records, had the first gold record awarded to them in 1941 for selling 1 million copies of Chattanooga Choo Choo, and appeared in 2 feature films for 20th Century Fox. No recording better encapsulates the swing era than In the Mood, one of the greatest big band hits of all time, that remains in print to this day some 83 years after it was made. Afterwards, we'll hear from one of the greatest lineups in jazz recording history. On September 11th, 1939, Lionel Hampton led a recording session featuring trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie and a 3-man powerhouse saxophone section of Chu Berry, Benny Carter, and Coleman Hawkins on When Lights Are Low, which was selected for inclusion by Martin Williams for the 1973 LP box set, The Smithsonian Collection of Classic Jazz. 1939, the Dixieland revival was in full swing. First, we'll hear pianist Jelly Roll Morton along with a backing band made up of fellow New Orleans musicians, among them Sidney Bechet on soprano saxophone, play the New Orleans funeral march, Didn't He Ramble? And then we'll hear from the ragtime band led by cornetist Muggsy Spanier, play their version of the original Dixieland Jazz Band's 1918 composition, At the Jazz Band Ball. The 16 recordings Spanier and his ragtime band made in 1939 are always featured on many essential jazz recording lists.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If the women don't get you, the whiskey must. He rambled, but the butchers cut him down.
killer diller. Yes, I am. Wham, rebop, boom, bam. Romp it, stomp it, ride it too. Wham, rebop, boom, bam. Jam it, jump it, jive it through. Some folks say the swing won't stay, and it's dying out. But I can prove it's in the groove, and they don't know what they're talking about. Wham, rebop, boom, bam. Easy to do like the Susie Q. Wham, rebop, boom, bam. If I can do it, you can too.
Bob, the boom, bam.
I can sing and I can jam.
Wham, rib-bop, boom, bam.
I'm a killer diller. Yes, I am. Some folks say the swing won't stay, and it's dying out. But I can prove it's in the groove, and they don't know what they're talking about.
Wham, rib-bop, boom, bam.
Easy to do like the Susie Q.
The wham, the rib-bop, boom, bam.
Ridge, if you can do it, I can too. Wham, rebop, boom, bam.
Is she a killer diller?
Truly am. Ow.
That last song was Wham, Rebop, Boom, Bam by Mildred Bailey, featuring a unique woodwind instrumentation and a guest appearance by trumpeter and vocalist Roy Eldridge. At the start of the 1940s, one of the most popular bands was the organization co-led by former studio musician and trombone player Will Bradley and former Jimmy Dorsey drummer Ray McKinley. The Bradley-McKinley Band would bring the sounds of boogie woogie to a wider audience, having several major hits. One of their first hit records was the instrumental Celery Stalks at Midnight. Then after, we'll hear from another short-lived band, this one fronted by multi-instrumentalist and arranger Benny Carter playing the locomotive-inspired Slow Freight. This song would be covered later in the year by Glenn Miller, without the unique electric guitar solo. That last song was Tuxedo Junction by Glenn Miller, one of his most famous recordings, which, like In the Mood, was also a #1 hit. The blues remained the foundation of jazz music, even during the swing era. Although not as famous at the time as its cousin Boogie Woogie, the blues would occasionally make its appearance on a recording by the big bands. In our two blues selections, we highlight the blues as interpreted by the orchestras led by Woody Herman and Earl Father Hines. First, Herman, along with the band that plays the blues, takes a bluesy vocal on the pop song Blue Prelude, which would be remade by Herman later in the decade. Then Hines gives himself an entire record as the lead soloist on Boogie Woogie on St. Louis Blues, with humorous interjections of encouragement from someone in the band.
Let me sigh, let me cry when I'm blue. Let me go away from this lonely town. Won't be long till my song will be through. 'Cause I know I'm on my last go-round. All the love I could steal, beg or borrow, wouldn't heal all this pain in my soul. What is love but a prelude to sorrow? With a heartbreak ahead for your goal. Here I go, now you know why I'm leaving. At the blues, what can I lose? Goodbye.
that last song was Dolomite by Ernst King Hawkins, one of the first records to make the national Billboard Top 10 charts later that year. In 1939, Artie Shaw, growing tired of the music industry, walked away from a successful band and headed to Mexico for a break. When he returned in early 1940, he formed a large orchestra complete with a woodwind and string section. One of the recordings this group made at one of their first recording sessions was Gloomy Sunday. Then after, we'll hear from the musical side of the Cab Calloway Band on Picking the Cabbage, a composition written by Calloway's trumpet player, Dizzy Gillespie.
Sunday's gloomy, my hours are slumberless. Dearest, the shadows I live with are numberless. Little white flowers will never awaken you, not where the black coach of sorrow has taken you. Angels have no thought of ever returning you. Would they be angry if I thought of joining you? Gloomy Sunday. Gloomy Sunday, with shadows I spend it all. My heart and I have decided to end it all. Soon there'll be candles and prayers that are sad, I know. Let them not weep, let them know that I'm glad to go. Death is no dream, for in death I'm caressing you. With the last breath of my soul, I'll be blessing you. Gloomy Sunday.
Back in the early 1930s, the Casa Loma Orchestra was one of the most adventurous big bands that was responsible for the development of swing music. By the middle of the 1930s, they had become a pop band that specialized in ballads and novelty tunes. In 1940, they tried to recapture the magic of their earlier days with one of their most famous and jazziest numbers on record, the two-part No Name Jive. That last song was Coconut Grove, an instrumental tribute to the Boston, Massachusetts nightclub by Benny Goodman and his orchestra. Both Dorsey brothers were doing well with their respective orchestras in 1940. First, we hear from older brother Jimmy Dorsey play The Breeze and I, his first #1 hit. Then younger brother Tommy leads the Sentimentalists, a small contingent from his orchestra on East of the Sun. This record is notable for not only featuring vocals by Dorsey's singer Frank Sinatra, but for the appearance by trumpeter Bunny Berrigan, who rejoined Dorsey's orchestra after disbanding his own band. Berrigan would soon leave and form one last band before his premature death in 1942.
The breeze and I are saying with a sigh that you no longer care. The breeze and I are whispering goodbye to dreams we used to share. Ours was a love song that seemed constant as the moon, ending in a strange, mournful tune. And all about me they know you have departed without me, and we wonder why. The breeze and I. No, you have departed without me, and we wonder why. The breeze and I. The breeze and I.
right there.
West of the moon,
We'll be digging a glow,
we'll build a dream house,
a righteous path
of love,
where you can really lay it on me.
near to the sun in the day,
We'll be jumping,
near to the moon at night.
you'll be with me.
We'll live in a lovely way, dear,
Solitude, I'm hip.
living on love and pale moonlight.
You're mellow.
Just you and I.
We'll nix the square.
Forever and a day.
So long, so long.
Love will not die.
We're together forever.
We'll keep it that way.
Forever.
Up among the stars we'll find a harmony of life to a lovely tune. East of the sun and west of the moon.
On a June night, kiss me and hold tight forever.
East of the sun and west of the moon.
Well, all right then. Take 'em, Bunny.
The orchestra Duke Ellington led between 1940 and 1942, known as the Blanton Webster Band, named after bassist Jimmy Blanton and tenor saxophonist Ben Webster, is considered by many jazz critics the greatest band the Duke ever led, and on recordings such as Cottontail, show the Duke at the peak of his orchestra's creative and musical popularity. One of 1940's oddest records to become a hit was Romance in the Dark by blues singer Lil Green, with musical backing from a trio led by blues guitarist Big Bill Broonzy.
In the dark, it's just you and I. Not a sound, it's not one sigh. Just the beat of my poor heart in the dark. Now in the dark, I get such a thrill when he presses fingertips upon my lips, and he begs me to please keep still in the dark. But soon this dance will be ended, and you all is going to be missed. Gee, but I'm not pretending, 'cause I swear it's fun. It's fun to be kissed in the dark. Now we will find what the rest have left behind. Just let them dance. We're going to find romance in the dark. Lord, in the dark, it's just you and I. Not a sound, it's not one sigh. Just the beat of my poor heart in the dark. Lord, in the dark, I get such a thrill when he presses fingertips upon my lips, and he begs me to please keep still in the dark. Lord, but soon this dance will be ended, and you all is going to be missed. Gee, but I'm not pretending, 'cause I swear it's fun. It's fun to be kissed in the dark. Now we will find what the rest have left behind. Just let them dance. We're gonna find romance in the dark. In the dark, turn out the lights.
I started up to see Bud Freeman, but I lost my way. Oh, I started up to see Bud Freeman, but I lost my way. And I thought for a minute
I was on the road for MCA.
That last song was Jack Hits the Road, sung by Jack Teagarden, making a rare sideman appearance during his band-leading years, and the small group led by saxophonist and Austin High School gang member, Bud Freeman. We end this episode of Highlights of Jazz Music with the first jazz appearance of the Baroque keyboard instrument, the harpsichord, on Special Delivery Stomp by Artie Shaw's small group, the Gramercy Five. The small group format would, in a few years' time, become the norm in jazz music as the 1940s progressed. In the next episode of Highlights of Jazz Music, we chronicle the twilight years of the swing era, 1941, 1942, and 1943. when big band swing music faced three external forces from which it would never recover and ceased to be America's popular music. Until then, I am your host, Justin Bouchard.